Now you can listen to Wine and Dine Radio while shopping at the grocery store or your neighborhood wine merchant. Wine and Dine Radio can be heard using your wireless internet on your cell phone. You're listening to iWineRadio. iWineRadio is a production of Food Tastes Better with Wine on the web at iWineRadio.com. Hey guys, I thank you for listening to iWineRadio, and we are still the only wine channel on iTunes Radio. If you go look under iTunes Radio icon and scroll down to News and Talk Directory, and it's listed alphabetically, click on that and the stream comes up immediately. iWineRadio.com, where you can find links to individual guests. And if anyone's interested in advertising or becoming an underwriter or sponsor, please contact us at iWineRadio.com. We really, really appreciate your support. The more support we get, the more conversations I can have with fascinating people around the world, including you. If you have a story to tell that you'd like to share on iWine Radio, go to iWineRadio.com and contact us, and we'll go from there.
Hello, this is Joe, winemaker of Foursight Wines. Wines are available at FoursightWines.com.
A couple of years ago, we had the pleasure of talking to Nancy and Kristy Charles, who, along with their husbands, founded Foursight Wines in Anderson Valley. Well, Kristy is very much in charge of all the public relations and marketing for the Anderson Valley Winegrowers Association, and her husband, Joe Webb, is the president of the Anderson Valley Winegrowers Association. So thanks to Kristy, we're having several conversations of late that feed into shouting out about the 16th annual Anderson Valley Pinot Noir Festival, May 17th through 19th, about Anderson Valley wines. And I really, really, really like Anderson Valley wines. And I have to say, in large part, Joe, it's because what's in the glass, what's in the bottle is a function of the fact that Anderson Valley is a Region 1 growing area.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we are exceptionally cool, and, that definitely showed, especially in a cool vintage like 2011, where it was even cooler than anybody farming here for however long they've farmed here since the beginning of farming, and stories have been passed along. There hasn't been a vintage as cool as 11, so it was an interesting year on top of being Region 1.
Well, I thank you very much for letting me taste your 2011 Vin Gris of Pinot Noir. It was yummy, yummy, delicious, delicious. That's the kind of wine I could drink every day, every night with dinner.
Yeah, most definitely. And, even between the four of us here, that are part of Foursight, there's contretemps almost every night about which house the tasting room leftover bottles are going to be going to. I probably get them more often than anybody else. And if we get sidetracked feeding horses or something, sometimes there's only a glass left by the time Kristy comes in.
Oh my! So does she work full time for the Anderson Valley Winegrowers Association?
She's a volunteer doing the marketing and PR outreach for the Anderson Valley Winegrowers, and she works full-time running Foursight. She's here in the tasting room every day it's open. Okay. And soon I will be joining her as part of that as well. As things are growing, we're just needing more hands on deck.
That is one heck of a volunteer position, because she does a fantastic job of really consistently getting the word out to media about Anderson Valley. It's just because you're kind of an island unto yourself. As Mary Elke said, it's Dramamine Road, going for, and that is just that. Oh my gosh, it really is Dramamine Road. So that's part of the joy and of Anderson Valley, is that it's really it's hard to get to.
That's correct, yeah. I mean, not that many people necessarily happen upon us, although it does happen for a few on their way to the coast, not really realizing they're passing through the town of Boonville itself. But our appellation itself is relatively small. We've only got about 2,200 planted acres. It's about 12 miles long and about a mile wide. So it's just one of those little microclimate valleys in California that's just warm enough to actually get some Pinot Noir to ripen.
Pinot Noir and also Semillon and Sauvignon Blanc, even though they're not part of this Pinot Noir festival. Tell us, what does a Semillon and a Sauvignon Blanc taste like that's grown in your Region 1?
Well, at this point, we're pretty much the only people growing and producing it, so it's kind of a party of one in that regard. We really enjoy those varietals and have been family favorites, and that's why we kind of went against the sort of common wisdom, and we were able to get a unique clone of Sauvignon Blanc out here that we thought would be a little better suited. So, with our warm days that we have, offset by the cool nights, we just tend to have a great level of fruit in the wines, but also those cold nights retaining that crisp acidity in all the wines, and that's most of what I love about Anderson Valley is just that really crisp, naturally occurring acidity due to our exceptionally cold nights.
There's no such thing as acidifying wines in Anderson Valley?
No, I'm not necessarily, sure about that. But,
okay.
For our cellar, it's, a very rare occurrence that's needed. We just have cool wines, but I can't really speak to what everybody else is doing on all of their cellars.
Okay. I just had to throw that out, but you answered very diplomatically. But now let me ask you this. Zero New Oak, Charles Vineyard Pinot Noir. What a novel approach.
Yes, well, I am very fond of second-year barrels. They tend to be my favorite, if I'm tasting in a friend's cellar or the cellars I've worked at over the years, where especially, early on in their tasting as the wine's finished with malolactic, they just seem to provide a great amount of that. So that's kind of the backbone of this wine, or of the Zero New Oak, and then the rest of it being neutral barrels. And the farming is done by my mother and father-in-law, and this is just a wine that I want to taste as much like the vineyard without the barrel or my influence, than some of our other wines, which, the oak lends a little more structure, but we just thought it would be fun to kind of come up with a sort of little more anti-current trend, and tout our 0% new oak as opposed to how much percent new, which is on every tech sheet pretty much.
I'm so behind you on that. I love that. Talk to us about your vine by vine viticulture. So
I don't have all the stuff memorized as well as Bill and Nancy do, who do all the farming, but I mean they know those vines down to the number of each one in each block. And, luckily we only have 15 acres planted, and therefore we can do a lot of the work ourselves. Just spending time in the vineyard is the best way to get the best kind of fruit, and then that makes the winemaking just that much easier when, the winery is right here on the estate. We've got about a 30-acre parcel here, of which the 15 is planted to vines, and the winery and tasting room are here on site, so we get the grapes just right down the driveway from the vineyard, and they're just in pristine condition, which allows us to do very little in the cellar.
Oh, that's the way to go, isn't it, to have that set up? So now, if people want to visit the tasting room, you're just south of Boonville. So talk to us about, coming up from, I guess, it's the only way to come up there is from Sonoma, right?
That's correct. There is another highway that comes over from Ukiah if you continue on the 101, yes. But most people get off on the Highway 128 in Cloverdale, and then you drive through the beautiful Yorkville Highlands appellation on your way to Anderson Valley, and basically Anderson Valley opens up essentially at the intersection of 253 and 128. And then as you head north, the growing region extends up quite a few miles until basically you hit the redwoods. And then you have that Redwood Drive, and then, of course, the beautiful Mendocino coast along that. So it's really, I think, one of the neater drives in California. It's certainly, there are some, curves and such, but definitely doable, and it's just a beautiful drive.
Do a lot of people own their own little private plane or something that they hop, skip, and jump?
There is a small community at our local airport, and actually the Charles family was one of the families to donate land to that airport, as flying used to be a very big thing, and the high school had its own plane and hangar. Wow. My father-in-law actually graduated high school with his pilot's license. And there's a whole community out there where the garages, there's a row of houses along the airport, and everybody's got, the big hangars for their garage. So we do have a few people that fly in, as we are walking distance from the airport, even here in, South Boonville.
Really?
So, we do get a few visitors that way, but it's the main means of transportation is primarily cars still.
So, Joe, how many people are you expecting or hoping for at the 16th annual Anderson Valley Pinot Noir Festival?
Well, we sell just a little over 600 tickets for the grand tasting, and we certainly have a lot more folks that come out for the other events, be it the winemaker dinners on Saturday night or the technical conference on Friday. And then the open houses on Sunday are a large draw. So, we may see up to about 1,000 people additionally through the valley, and in the scheme of things that, spread out through 20-something tasting rooms.
Yeah.
It's a great weekend, and it's much less crowded than a lot of events that happen further south. And where
can people have secure overnight accommodations and remain in Anderson Valley?
There are a few, but primarily folks are headed out to the Mendocino coast for that, and there are several driving services that are actually available to get you to and from your accommodations, and be it your dinner or the grand tasting.
Okay, good. So if they, through like FoursightWines.com website, and the link that I have up to AVWines.com, they can also maybe contact you how to, make those accommodations. Before we run out of time, let me ask you real quick, the Pinot Noir technical session, is anyone going to film that, video record that, so that those of us who won't be present but are Pinot Noir fanatics can be watching that video, accessing it?
At this point, we haven't done that with any of the technical sessions. I'm not sure. I'm not sure there are plans to do that for this one, but that is certainly something that I will put on the list of things to talk about for next year. I know I do that all the time when you have these other Pinot events that I'm unable to attend.
Yeah, it makes sense, because there are people all over the world that love Anderson Valley Pinot Noir, but they can't be there, so that would be a way of letting us learn more. Well, Joe Webb, winemaker for Foursight Wines and president of the Anderson Valley Winegrowers Association, we thank you so very much for your time today.
Yes, great speaking with you as well.
We will have links up for you to learn more, and we thank you for listening to Wine and Dine. Now, you can listen to Wine and Dine Radio while shopping at the grocery store or your neighborhood wine merchant. Wine and Dine Radio can be heard using your wireless internet on your cell phone. You're listening to iWineRadio. iWineRadio is a production of Food Tastes Better with Wine, on the web at iWineRadio.com. Hey guys, I thank you for listening to iWineRadio, and we are still the only wine channel on iTunes Radio. If you go look under iTunes radio icon and scroll down to News and Talk Directory, and it's listed alphabetically, click on that and the stream comes up immediately. iWineRadio.com, where you can find links to individual guests. And if anyone's interested in advertising or becoming an underwriter or sponsor, please contact us at iWineRadio.com. We really, really appreciate your support. The more support we get, the more conversations I can have with fascinating people around the world, including you. If you have a story to tell that you'd like to share on iWineRadio, go to iWineRadio.com and contact us, and we'll go from there.